The essay I got for my presentation is Theodore Adorno's Art, Autonomy and Mass Culture. About Theodore Adorno. Theodore Adorno was one of the foremost philosophers of the 20th century. Although he wrote on a wide range of subjects, his fundamental concern was human suffering, especially modern society's effects upon the human condition. He was influenced most notably by Hegel, Marx and Nietzsche. He was associated with the Institute for Social Research in the Frankfurt School, which was a social science and cultural intellectual hub for promoting socialism and overthrowing capitalism. Adorno coined the term identity thinking to describe the process of categorical thought in modern society, by which everything becomes an example of an abstract and thus nothing individual in its actual specific uniqueness is allowed to exist. He lamented that the human race had gone from understanding the world through myth to understanding it through scientific reasoning, but that this later enlightenment was the same as understanding the world through myth. Adorno is also known for his critique of the culture industry. He felt that the entertainment industry of modern society is just as mechanical, formulaic, and dominating as the workplace. He argued that humans in modern society are programmed at work and in their leisure, and though they seek to escape the monotony of the workplace, they are merely changing to another piece of the machine from producer to customer. There is no chance of becoming free individuals who can take part in the creation of society, whether at work or play. Now we can start with the essay. Adorno starts his essay with a letter to Walter Benjamin. He introduces some unfamiliar words for us. For example, kitsch film, quality film, reification, etc. First of all, we can check what is kitsch film. German word, form of art that is considered inferior, tasteless copy of an extant style of art or a worthless imitation of art of recognized value. It also refers to the type of art that are aesthetically deficient and make creative justice, which merely imitate the superficial appearances of art through repeated conventions and formulae. What is reification? Reification is the consideration of an abstraction, a relation, or object as if they had human or living existence and abilities, when in reality they do not. In this section, Adorno says, the oral element of the work of art is declining. Reification of a work of art is not just loss, but reification of cinema is all loss. Reification of cinema is a bourgeois reaction to negate in the name of ego. Dialectic of the lowest should be the same value as the dialectic of the highest. Both bear the stigma of capitalism. It is romantic to sacrifice one to the other. He says that it would be bourgeois reaction to negate the reification of the cinema in the name of ego, and it would border an anarchism to revoke the reification of a great work of art in the spirit of immediate use values. But only if the dialectic of the lowest has the same value as the dialectic of the highest, rather than the latter simply decaying. Both bear the stigma of capitalism. Both contain elements of change. Both are tone halves of an integral freedom to which, however, they do not add up. It would be romantic to sacrifice one to the other, either as the bourgeois romanticism of the conservation of personality and all that stuff, or as anarchist romanticism of blind confidence in the spontaneous power of the proletariat in the historical process. A proletariat which is itself a product of bourgeois society. Now, Adorno accuses Walter Benjamin for his essay of second Romanism. He says that Benjamin swept art out of the corners of its taboos, but it is as though he feared a consequent inrush of barbarism. Then he says that the laughter of the audience at a cinema is anything but good or revolutionary. Instead, it is full of the worst bourgeois sadism. He doubts the expertise of the newspaper boys who discuss sports, and despite its shock-like seduction, he do not find Benjamin's theory of distraction convincing. If only for the simple reason that in a communist society, work will be organized in such a way that people will no longer be so tired and so stultified that they need distraction. On the other hand, certain concepts of capitalist practice, like that of the test, seem to be almost ontologically congealed and taboo-like in function, whereas if anything does have an oral character, it is surely the film which possesses it to an extreme and highly suspect degree. The second section of the essay is titled Reconciliation Under Duress. He says that the concrete historical components have been eliminated even in Beckett, and perhaps in him above all. Beckett's primitive men are the last men. And then he talks about dialectic of enlightenment. And he says that a society wholly in the grip of the cultural industry displays all the reactions of an amphibian. In Beckett, and perhaps in above all, where seemingly all concrete historical components have been eliminated and only primitive situations and forms of behavior are tolerated. The unhistorical facade is a provocative opposite of the absolute being idolized by reactionary philosophies. The primitivism with which his works begin so abruptly represents the final phase of a regression. His primitive men are the last men. One theme we discover in his works is something which Hochmeyer and Adorno have already discussed in Dialectic of Enlightenment, the fact that a society wholly in the grip of the culture industry displays all the reactions of an amphibian. The substantive content of a work of art can survive in the precise, wordless polemic which depicts the dawn of a nonsensical world, and it can vanish again as soon as it is positively asserted, as soon as existence is claimed for it, a fate similar to the one that befalls the didactic antithesis between a right and a wrong mode of life to be found in Tolstoy after Anna Karenina. Now, Adorno keeps on talk like a critique of Lukács. Lukács' idea of immanent meaning, the conditional humane, Lukács' confusion of Beckett with the cult of being, empirical veracity has sunk and relevance of technique has increased enormously. Art does not provide knowledge of reality by reflecting it photographically. Lukács' favorite old idea of an immanent meaning points towards that same dubious faith in the face value of things which his own theory sets out to destroy. Conceptions like Beckett's, however, have an objective, polemical thrust. Lukács twists them into straightforward portrayal of the pathological, of the perverse, of idiocy, all of which are seen as types of the conditioned humane. Lukács' confusion of Beckett with the cult of being exposes his inability to see what